Peace, family. It's me, Conscious Soldier, as you may know me on Instagram. If you follow my Instagram page, Conscious Soldier J, not Ether. On Instagram, if you don't know me, if you don't follow my Instagram, I post a lot of information there. So um, go ahead and look for Conscious Soldier underscore J9. That is my Instagram name. CONSCIOUSSOULDIER underscore J9. The number 9. So, I'm about to do my first video. And I'm about to talk to y'all about I'm gonna break down my knowledge, the way I know about it. I'm gonna break down the origins of the human race, and I'm gonna go with the basics on using the Bible. Because from what I know, I grew up learning under the ancient mystic order of Melchizedek, also known as Wu Nuwap. I grew up in the teachings of Wu Nuwap and ancient orders of Melchizedek. And I don't really consider myself conscious, but I am in a way, but more of a spiritual Gnostic, an Afrocentric, Nubian spiritual Gnostic. Shit, man. Okay, well. So, yeah. Um, so, we're going to start with Genesis 1, verse 26 and 27, which started with the origins of the Lulu Amelu, which is, it says, and God said, let us, meaning the Elohim, make man in our image and in our likeness. This is when the Homo erectus were made, the genius species of homos, of Homo genus, the Lulu Amelu as we call it. So that's verse 26, 27 said God made man in his own image, in the image of God made he man. They used DNA of some apes, some chimps, and the DNA of the behemoth that we call Bigfoot. We know them as in Nuwapa, I know them as the Syrians or the Shaggies. But in reality, like on television, documentaries and stuff, we know them as Bigfoot, Yeti, Sasquatch, like all these types of names that's been known of them. These are actually not they're not aggressive, but they're very protective of their area and their land, and they don't really reveal themselves unless you were to give vegetables to them, unless you was to trade some type of, because they're vegans, they're vegetarians, they're vegans. So if you were to give them some herb, then I guess they will be able to meet up with you, in secret though, because they're very sly. But these were called the behemoths in the Bible, and they were used to make the Lulu Melu. Now, if you go to verse 2, verse 7, you see that man was made of dust and soul. Africa, Ethiopia. The etymology of Africa is Africa, terra, land of afar, meaning dust. Afar comes from, means that's the word meaning dust. In verse 2, verse 7, said that man was made from dust of the ground, and breath into his nostrils, the soul, the breath. That's where the spirit comes in. The breath is our spirit. That's the gaseous part of ourselves. But then we became a living soul. So the soul. Not everybody has a soul. This is where the original people has a soul. The original Nubian, the original Nubic person, Nubic people, who we call the Negroids or the African people. They have a soul. For the African American, our souls are weakened because of intermixing with another type of man, the intermixing with other humans. But our souls have become weakened. But African people actually have a stronger soul. They have a soul which lies in them. To have a soul, you have to have melanin. Melanin comes from the dust of the ground. That is the bacteria and the clay, the bacteria and dust. That our blood comes from the dust. Our flesh comes from the bacteria, all gathered from the earth. So our bodies will have to return when we die. When we die, our bodies return to the ground. They have to return to the earth. And our souls and our spirit and soul will move on to the higher realms. Now, without a soul, you're not going to be able to go into the higher realms. But here's what the soul is. The soul is not the spirit. The soul is not energy that keeps you alive. That is a misconception. The soul is electricity, electromagnetic force field that is inside that keeps the spirit and the flesh together. It keeps them together, keeps them binded together. So this is what the soul is. This is my understanding of what the soul is. Not everybody has this because you got people who are pale, who we gonna get to know in a couple of minutes. They're called the Canaanites in the Bible. I'm gonna introduce y'all to the verses of that stuff and explain what happened there. But they are very pale people, and they don't have melanin. They lack pigment, so that you have to have melanin to keep a soul alive. You know, you gotta have lively flesh. You gotta be able to take in sun genetics. Your genetics have to be your genetics have to be made to take in nutrients from the sun, to absorb sunlight. You know, we are the children of Ra, the children of God, the children of children of Ra, the sun people. Us black people are the sun people. So for you white people who gonna get mad, you can look into this on Instagram and stuff, and you can go into this. Don't get mad at me. This is not racism. This is scientific proof and truth. Look up Laila Africa, Dr. Laila Africa, and he'll break it down for you. Look up Francis Selson, Dr. Francis Selson. Look up her. She has books called. She got a book called what was it? The ISIS Papers, I believe his name. Like you go into that book, she breaks it down too. My master teacher breaks it down, broke it down before her, you know. But anyways, now we're gonna go to this is where black people started. In Genesis 2 verse 7, black people started. We were naturally, like if you go to 1 verse 29, you see we're naturally vegans, vegetarians, not eat meat. We're supposed to be protectors of the. Like if you read Genesis 1, you will see about 1:28 and 29. You see that we were made